This, my friends, is a classic riddle with 9 dots.
What am I doing?
We're gonna ask and invite you, can you think outside the box? Literally.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I hear you already. You're skeptical that a piece of paper with a couple dots is really gonna have any big insight. Hang with us, I promise it will.
This is how to become a remarkable storyteller.
We are Muse Storytelling, a group of passionate storytellers who believe that in today's world,
Being a storyteller, it's table stakes. That if you want to do passion-filled work that's going to change the world, that's going to fill you with purpose, well, then you have to become remarkable.
and the strongest lifts, the ideas and techniques that have led to the inflection points in our careers, they've all come from the results of mindsets.
Not from the latest camera, pixel peeping, ISO aperture, or some wild drone. No,
From how we approach reaching our goals and achieving our vision. And it's exactly that
good shit.
that we bring you each and every episode of How to Be a Remarkable Storyteller. As creatives, we often live inside of a box, and we like to talk about thinking outside the box, yet when given a very simple problem, we often struggle to challenge our assumptions. And so we brought in complete strangers, gave them the classic 9-dot problem, a marker,
Place the pen to the paper, never lift it, using straight lines and straight lines only. In how few moves can you connect all 9 dots?
and saw who could solve it in as few lines as possible. This is Caitlin. She's our VP of production. She's got the superpower of solving everything, right? She works with like government agencies, trying to get us in and out of countries, carnet issues. So if she can't solve the 9 dots, we're in trouble, folks.
It's easy to do it in 5. It's impressive to do it in 4. And you'll go down in the Hall of Fame when you can do it in 1.
After you touch, just remember, it can't come
Yeah.
off the page.
Oh, you can't lift it from the paper, huh?
Straight lines only.
Straight lines only.
I'm going through my head.
I'm just gonna start.
1, 2,
Yeah, I see where I
3.
went wrong.
So as we look at how some people approach this challenge, several things emerge from the assumptions that people are making. Notably, the more assumptions one person brings with them, the less likely they are to solve for the goal. Let's look at what stumped people the most. So you're trying to do it in less than 4 moves.
Now, mistake number 1. It's the classic problem of not thinking outside of the box. When we hear rules like straight lines and you can't lift the marker,
Oh, I can't take it up.
Caitlin loves to follow the rules, though she struggles to
It's-
break them.
our brains impose a limit or a box around the dots, so we think that we have to stay inside that. Well, guess what? It's a lot like thinking that your films have to stay inside the box of nonprofit films or documentaries or weddings. See, the point is that this box, it's been imaginary the whole time. And it's those who step outside of the box, it's those that are gonna stand out.
You connected them all when you were at 6.
Well, that's 5. So I failed.
You got a score to beat. Can we get a round of applause? Look, for me personally, I stepped outside of the box in how I made wedding films way back when. And that's how one of them got turned into a national commercial for Canon Camera, and another one led to a massive contract with the National Football League.
Dude, I could do this in 4. I'm pretty sure.
Some participants solved this puzzle in 4 lines simply by thinking outside of the box and extending their lines beyond the 9 dots.
Mistake number 2, and how you really take this to the next level, is both questioning and challenging your assumptions. The idea that you have to stay within the boundary of the 9 dots is simply an assumption. But we have so many more that are going to hold us back. It's developing the ability to question and challenge assumptions that's going to unlock new worlds for you.
Now, in this example, many people assume that they can't lift the paper up. They assume that they can't fold the paper. They assume that they can't draw off the lines of the paper. But the moment, the instant you question that assumption, you realize that the limit was only in your head. That's our girl. Woo!
1.
I don't see them all connected. Almost. And you can fold the paper, and when you do so, you can fold it over and over and over, and you can solve it in 1 line, a bullseye right through the middle. That would have been 1.
That was a line.
You had to go through the paper. Or you can say, hey, could I roll this into a loop? And again, 1 line all the way around.
Now, as a mindset or an approach, we would score this a 4 out of 5. Truly developing that ability to question assumptions, to hold them up, to examine them, It opens up so many more creative possibilities, both in the development of the creative, but also in the field when you're bringing it to life.
We are absolutely doing this exercise on every single production where we run into a problem or an opportunity. And we step back and we think through the problems and our assumptions. Let us share 2 stories where this approach made a big difference in our film, and 1 example where it made a huge business or profit win. So first, let me tell you about David and the story of BioBeast. So we're in London, we're doing a piece for Canon Camera to release their C100 camera. It's a documentary film where we need to interview the main character. Now this guy, he had invented a way that you could take the torch on your phone, right? You could hold up your finger over top of it and it would actually turn that into a pulse. And then it would be able to read the pulse and turn that to music in real time. So the music is a reflection of your internal state.
I listened to the bass kick of my heart. Just that was moving. And then he turned it into jungle UK house music. And I had no reaction but to dance. I would jump for joy, and as I jumped for joy, the heart rate accelerated. And I watched it, and the music accelerated, and the bass accelerated.
Wild technology and an even crazier backstory where this guy dies from stress, literally wakes up in a morgue.
She said, U-suits usually arrive dead, and this is a rare chance I get to tell you what I think. And what I think is you should change your life. And I think I'm not alone. I think that lots of people around the world are told, you need to chill out.
And that's what gives him the drive to find out a way where we might be able to tell how stressed we are.
So David is amazing, but he's also verbose. And we really value experience in having a conversation. So when we did the interview for the film, it was a long time. It was about 2 hours in total. Now, we'd rented a location that they'd actually used in a Bond film, which meant these big, epic floor-to-ceiling windows.
Problem is, over these 2 hours, the sun goes down and the interview look changes so drastically, meaning we can't cut a later part of the interview into an earlier moment, as that's going to be a very jarring edit. So we start by checking our assumptions. Can we not just show David in the interview and not use his audio?
Well, doing that would hurt the audience's connection to the character and therefore the story. What if we were to hire a local to refilm the interview?
Well, remember, we have a prototype C100 camera in our hand, so there's no chance of that. So what about if we flew back to London?
The flight change fees would kill the budget, and we had a pressing deadline that was tied to Canon launching this new camera, so we should probably deliver on time.
Then it hit us. So I started texting David. I'm like, hey, David, can I give you a really quick call to chat about your story? I'm like, David, we need to get something else for your film. Based on our travel schedule, to make that happen, we would like you to come to Croatia tonight. Then I paused, silence, waited for a response. I am asking this founder and university professor to hop on a plane, fly to another country, and help us out. Not a small ask. So David replies, when would I need to leave? I mean, I teach tomorrow morning. I'm not sure how this could work. I'm like, well, David, we looked at the flight schedules. I can have you on an 8 p.m. flight. You'll land in Croatia by 11. We'll be done by 1 a.m. and we'll have you home by morning. He agreed. We booked him, sent him the tickets, and off we were to find a location that would help us film throughout the night. Found a coffee shop that took $100 and would let us film at any time. David arrived at midnight, and there we went.
I just thought, okay, this is it. It's a shift. It's a pivot, right? And pivots are good.
One last problem. David was so rushed that he left dinner and went straight to the airport, meaning he didn't have wardrobe that was fitting for the interview. So again, challenging the assumptions, I handed him the cardigan off my back and asked him to put it on.
Dancing to music that's created out of biometrics from her own body, but also her emotional state. If she could show you all that, right? If the dance itself, if the choreography emerged out of the biometrics and the emotional intelligence behind her, it would be a completely different sort of act.
It is incredibly empowering when approaching a challenge to take the time to remind yourself not to be bound by your assumptions. As storytellers, as creatives, we use incredible amounts of creativity when we approach how we think about the story or the script or the visuals, but we all too often forget that we can use these same muscles to approach the challenges that we're facing when we're trying to execute on the stories.
Now, one more story. This one about how challenging assumptions can help you make way more money, get you more business as a filmmaker. So, Four Seasons used to do an event called Pop Down. They'd bring in top mixologists and chefs and do this one-night party in an amazing location. Think like $350 million super yacht and a party. Now, I contacted Four Seasons. She had sent me a past edit, so I gave her some story notes, but I also noticed this little bit of an issue where the timestamp was from several weeks after the party. And I'm like, why are you launching a video of a party several weeks after the event had happened? Now, of course, That's as quick as she thought it could be done. And so I was like, what if we come to your next party and we have the film ready to air by 9 a.m. the next morning? That way, the video can go out with your press release. She was blown away, but was like, is that even possible? Now, of course, those of us who do same-day edits back in weddings and that kind of thing, we know it's possible. And while I didn't have the exact solution in the moment, I knew the process was scalable and that we could solve it. So she said if we thought we could pull it off, she was game. And she greenlit a 3 times increase in their budget to deliver the film and social assets by the next morning.
Each dish and cocktail, a childhood memory.
This means we're challenging assumptions to the tune of a 6-figure filmmaking deal.
So actions for you to ensure that you can apply this idea of questioning and challenging these assumptions. Begin by realizing that to truly think outside of the box, so much of that is realizing that you're the biggest one who's holding yourself back with limits that you've put on yourself that you don't even realize. So ask yourself, in your work, where are you doing things because you actually have to film them that way, and where are you doing things because you imagine the boundaries of the box?
2, when you run into a problem in the field, you need to get in the habit of taking a step back and bringing this exercise, this approach to light. Actively brainstorm ideas, hold them out, and see what assumptions are valid and which are not. This exercise is so massively valuable.
3, on the business side, look at assumptions your clients may have and question where you might be able to help them do things in a new or innovative way to achieve their goals better. When you can find those opportunities and you share them with excitement, they can offer amazing wins for both you and them.
You had the idea, you just didn't hold it back on itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The victory dance.
Damn you!
No refunds?
So if you're into this, like we are, if you share our desire to use the power of story to make a difference in the world, then join us for all of the upcoming episodes by subscribing to our channel, by clicking that notification bell, and by commenting.
But we don't simply want this to be us sharing with you. No, we want you to take action with us, and we want you to share your thoughts and observations. So each episode comes with a key question. This is where we want to hear from you. And we're going to reward the strongest comment with a $150 B&H gift card. To join in the contest, share in the comments below a time when you challenged an assumption to find a breakthrough for yourself or your client for a film that you were working on.
The most creative or unusual answer before next Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific will be awarded a $150 B&H gift card.
Remember, my friends, you are not your fucking pixel count. Your perspective will always be the strongest lens you attach to a camera. And this show is all about helping you develop and sharpen that perspective.